Flavors of Youth. This is a new Netflix original that dropped, I believe, Tuesday, right? Yeah, I believe Tuesday. Today is Thursday, so that doesn't matter as much. But basically, it dropped a couple days ago. It's from the creators of Your Name, same production studio. And I text this crew immediately, and I was like, "Guess what just dropped today? I freaking love the movie Your Name. We got to give this movie a watch." And so we did. And so just to kind of give a broad overview, it is 3 separate stories. It's considered like a mini anthology. It runs like 75 minutes long. So what is
Not
that?
long.
Each story is like 25 minutes
Something
or so.
like that, yeah.
And so we had 3 separate stories. Do you guys want to do like a synopsis on each of them, or how did you want to go about this?
Sure.
So you guys remember the first one?
Yeah. First one was
the best one.
kind of about the food and how food is attached to nostalgia and memory.
The rice
and
noodles.
The noodles, yeah.
Yeah. So
kinda
there's
sweet.
a kid who you're watching him kind of grow up, almost a coming of age, and it's all about his connection with these noodles that were made in his little town, and it was made by a husband and wife couple. Also his mother would make the soup from these noodles, and he had a connection with his grandmother.
His grandmother, yeah.
And then you're watching him kind of grow up, go through school, and there's a girl that rides her bike every day past him, and he has a big old crush on her.
So cute.
And then as he gets older, he's realizing there's like less of this mini town feel because he moves into the city, I think, for school.
Yeah.
And then grandma starts getting sick. He's realizing in the big city he's not getting like the same type of feel that he got when he had that soup growing up that his grandmother would make and stuff. Grandmother gets sick, his grandmother dies. And it's a very sad scene. And she dies holding his hand. To kind of wrap it all up, he goes and has some soup. He finds out that this noodle place is opened up that was run by the original owners, I believe, right? Did it look like that?
It
It was
wasn't
the second
the
group,
second
right?
shop
The
that
second shop.
he went to was reopened.
Was it the same
It was the
people?
same.
Because it was,
I
yeah,
don't
because I
know.
thought that was the, I thought
that was
that
the
was
wife.
his classmate.
Yeah,
That
you're
was
right.
And the dad.
You're right,
Okay.
I think. Yeah.
That's what I thought anyway.
And so anyways, yeah, and then he has a nice cup of soup, and then a girl rides by on her bike, and this is like 15 years later or something, and it kind of reminds him at least of the girl that he had a crush on. It may not have been the same person.
Right.
Probably
Who
wasn't.
knows?
Who knows? That's the
Yeah.
mystery.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that is story 1.
Yeah.
And what was that one called?
That one was called the rice.
Rice noodles,
The rice noodles.
I think.
There's a longer name for it, I thought.
Longer than the rice noodles.
So-
Anyways, yeah. So that was story 1. Story 2 was about
Modeling.
it's about a
Was the
model.
model.
It was
yeah.
about sisters.
Yeah, a model and her
It was about,
sister.
yeah.
It was about like her eating disorder, kind of like trying to live up to the expectations of being a model and basically becoming anorexic, and how she fainted and had to go to rehab, and yeah, that part was really important part of it too.
Yeah, there's a lot of relationships, I think, in this one.
Mm-hmm.
There was the relationship with her sister, first and foremost, who was a designer.
Mm-hmm.
Right? She made clothing.
Yeah.
And then her relationship with her manager,
Mm-hmm.
who we don't know.
We sort of speculated that he might be gay, just
Yeah.
because like there were
He
some
says
comments.
it, right? Doesn't
Yeah.
No, he does. Yeah.
I think
He's
he
like-
does.
They
he's
make a
like-
little joke about that.
Yeah, he's like, I don't hit on.
I'm not into
Women.
girls or something like
yeah.
that.
Yeah.
It was just
Yeah.
kind of tossed aside, little quick
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah.
And then the relationship with the new model, this up and coming model with pink hair.
Who she's
and
like super
younger.
jealous of. She's
Yeah.
younger than her.
And then what
Yeah.
the catalyst was the clothes, right? That's what kind of connected her like childhood and
Yeah, this her mom looks like she used to either sew or crochet,
Right.
kind
Yeah.
of, and that was like a big thing that they grew up with. And it shows them as little girls, and they're wearing matching dresses, and like you can tell that that's like a big important part of their life. And then they both go on to kind of do these things that are part of
Yeah.
that world.
yeah,
you
they
know?
shared it,
Mhm.
and then like because her thing was she got tall, and then became a model, and her sister
Right.
was just kind of ordinary.
Right.
There.
And there was also kind of a theme of like she was trying so hard to please everyone else instead of
Right.
doing like what was true to herself and like what she wanted to do. And so at the end it kind of seems like it was what she wanted to do was actually model her sister's clothing, and like instead of just like doing what she's told by everyone else, she kind of got to do what she
and
wanted.
She's struggling too also with she said I have two jobs. It's my sister and it's my modeling. And she felt like if she wasn't doing one, she was struggling with the other or something to that effect.
Yeah.
So that was basically, the resolution of that story was that her sister helps her get back into modeling after she had fainted on the runway, and to help her get back into modeling, she asked the manager to kind of trick her into modeling, basically, and she gives her clothes, and so now the sisters share this thing together.
Yeah.
Okay, so that was the second story.
Yep, that was the second story.
And the third story was about what?
It was about
An architect.
Yeah, it was like this kind of love story about
The weird,
an
architect.
It's just like these two. It starts off with like these 3 teenage kids that are like best friends, and like 2 of them are pretty much in love with each other, and then one of them, the girl in the story, kind of, she gets beat by her dad quite a bit, and he has these like really high expectations of her. Wants her to take this test, this like aptitude test, so she can go to this really prestigious school, and it's far away, and this would be for college. And then and then of course she tells the guy that she loves that she's going to take this test and she's going to have to move far away and all this stuff. And so he decides that he's going to take the test. So he starts like studying really, intensely.
His family doesn't think he can do it.
Right. And so he tries to prove them all wrong. And then, of course, he ends up passing. And then for whatever reason, she ends up failing. Won't give anything away about the ending. But so she ends up failing. And so he leaves and becomes an architect and goes to that prestigious college. And she's stuck back in, with her family being ashamed of her and all this stuff. So,
and there's this whole thing with these cassettes, like how they communicated in.
So cool.
Yeah,
that was like the noodles and the clothes. It was the cassettes that brought it to
very much
So,
a nostalgia factor on that too.
Yeah, and the twist ending there that you learn is that, and it also very very much a coming of age. You're watching them grow up, and he goes and visits her later on, and no, do you learn that then? That basically she failed the test on purpose.
Well, that was the cassette. Like he put it.
It was in the cassette.
And then he listens to it years later.
Yeah,
because they use the cassettes like letters.
Yeah, you find out that she fails the test on purpose because she doesn't want to leave the city because she wants to be with him.
Oh my gosh, so heartbreaking.
And had he known that, he probably would have failed it on purpose too, or not even taken it.
He wouldn't have taken it.
Yeah,
Right,
he was only studying to be with her.
Yeah, I know. And then, I love that story so much.
Oh my god, so good.
Gift to the Magi.
Yeah. So yeah, what were your favorites? What were your favorite moments? Oh, and then also we should say too, the end caps of this thing was that it starts off in an airport, and it points at 3 different groups of people, and you have no clue who they are. Points up to an airplane, and then it starts story 1, and then it ends with the 3 people in the airport, and how all of their lives, even though not connected, they basically all have their own stories and their own lives.
Right. And it's like they're all kind of it all really ends on a nice note. Like the guy in the first story is going, I think he's going back home, maybe, I don't know. Then
or he's like leaving. I think he's leaving his homeland back to his
his regular life,
current life.
Yeah. And then the second story, it's the 2 sisters, and I don't know where they're going. They're traveling somewhere together. And then in the third story, it's the 3 friends that are like now adults and are like traveling
they're all together.
Somewhere.
Yeah.
So it's a really nice ending because you see all of them and they're all like together again, kind of going back to just the relationships and the nostalgia factor of all of it. Ties it all together.
Do you guys have a favorite story?
Yes.
I like the first one.
Me too.
That was your favorite?
Yeah.
Why?
Go for it.
To me, that one was the most like fluid.
Okay.
I guess. The other ones, I don't know.
It's about soup.
Because
do
I'm
like soup.
hungry.
I mean, I got the modeling one. The last one was a little. I don't know. The whole thing with the cassettes is a little much.
Okay.
I don't know. I wasn't buying it at least. But I mean, like that was the soup one was the only one that kind of like it made the most sense.
Okay.
Out of all the other ones,
It was
Or
definitely the
just-
simplest of stories.
I think. Well, yeah, that's what I think. Yeah, where everyone else was kind of had all those other things, and then there's this thing that connects me to my youth.
I also think as a viewer, it is the easiest to connect with because everybody eats.
right.
Yeah.
That's
Not
true.
everybody models.
Right, not everybody models and not
everybody's
everybody
into
makes
fashion
mixtapes and
Yeah.
things like that.
Everybody
studies hard.
eats.
Yeah.
The only issue I had with the
Hopefully.
first one is I think they didn't focus on relationships enough, whereas the other two they may have focused on them
Correct.
too much.
Exclusively.
And so the
Yeah.
first one, a lot of it has to do with like his relationship with his grandmother.
Yeah.
And they barely touched on it. You saw her for like no more than 20 seconds.
It's true. He kind of seems like a loner throughout.
Well,
Yeah.
that was the other thing too. I think it kind of was kind of like each of them. That's the one thing I appreciated too. I think it was each of them was sort of like a cross section of I guess whatever life.
Yeah.
Like, there's
Yeah.
that he was the loner, and then you had the sisters, family. Then you had the group of kids who were they're the family but they're friends. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
kind of each little.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, I identified a lot with the first one, just because I tend to have like a lot of nostalgia around food, and then I think the one that I liked the most was the last one.
Yeah, Jess and I are on the last. That's our favorite. I think we could all agree that the middle one wasn't the best one.
No,
I don't
it
like
wasn't.
the way they
Okay.
wrote female characters.
Huh?
Yeah.
I don't like the way they wrote female characters, or at least the way female characters address one another. I don't know if that's just like reading too much into it, but
Sure, no, that's the point. You're
Yeah.
supposed to
It
read
could've-
into it.
yeah, it was
Yeah.
just it was a good story. I'm not like it was garbage. It was a great story, but sandwiched between these two other much stronger stories, it really stood out.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
thought maybe the second one. I thought I had the reaction that you had with the third one. I thought it was over convoluted. There were so many themes that we were supposed to focus on.
That's
we were
what I
supposed,
mean. Yeah.
We're
A lot
supposed
of
to focus
stuff
on the
going
second one.
on.
We're supposed to focus on the fact that she's overworking herself as a model, the modeling industry in general, the eating, the working out, her relationship with her sister, which is strained but kind of not really. She adopts her.
Yeah.
There's like a whole thing with the family where they were separated as kids, and then later on
Yeah.
she adopts her, and then the relationship with the kind of the weird manager guy who's in and out, and he's a friend,
Yeah.
and then also kind of sexual at one point, and it was weird, and like don't hit on my sister, and like
But
they're just
also he's gay.
they
like-
hit so many themes in 25 minutes. I was like, this is too much.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
wish they would have done what
wish
they
they-
did with the
I-
first one,
well,
just
yeah.
focused,
I'm, like-
honed in on it.
Yeah, well, I mean,
Yeah.
like the catalyst was the clothes, and that had the same effect. Like it just kind of the clothes and the cassette felt more shoehorned in,
Okay.
whereas like the first one was like sort of built around that. I
Mm.
guess that's what I meant in that sense. But yeah, I mean, like that was way.
To
too
be
much
clear,
going
I made
on.
this I was very proud of myself. I made this connection. I'm not always the best at finding the symbolism, but the first story is about taste. The second story is about sight, and the third
Okay.
with the modeling and all
Yeah.
that stuff, and the
Yeah.
third story is about listening or about hearing.
because of the taste.
Yeah, so it was like like
Okay.
Oh.
how our senses
Okay.
remind us of things, how our senses are our memories.
Yeah. Yeah.
Cool.
Very much so.
Yeah.
That does
And
make
then
sense,
just to talk about the third one a lot, which I'm very glad they ended it with what I believe was the strongest story. I'm glad they ended it with that one. I'm also a sucker, I think, for these love stories. It was much more
Yeah.
like the movie Your Name, which is the highest grossing anime film of all time, beating out Studio Ghibli's Spirited Away, and probably
Wow.
the next 10 after that are all Studio Ghibli.
That's
Mm.
impressive to
Um,
do that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's
Super
not
impressive.
easy
And
to
it
do.
deserves it. You
It's-
should watch it.
Yeah,
It's
no,
so
really good.
good.
Still haven't seen it.
So Your Name is a lot like is a lot like the third story, in that it's a love story,
Yeah.
and it's also kind of like a disconnected love story. They're not.
It's not like a typical love story. It's
Yes.
it's like
He doesn't
it's
get
like
the girl.
her, or like one of those kind of like very atypical.
Yeah, which
love
is why I like
stories.
her so
Kinda like
much.
Eternal
and-
Sunshine. type
Yeah.
of-
Yeah,
like
it's
that.
very different. And so I really liked what they did with the cassette tapes, and I think maybe in the same way that you liked the first one, I connected with that right away because I used to do that. I used to make cassette tapes with friends and like people that I had crushes on.
Well, okay, well, I guess what, I don't know what got me was like it's supposed to be a back and forth, but they're like talking to their little cassettes, you know, and I was like, is that his? Did he make a recording that answered that and send it to her, and then she sent her response back? Like,
okay, so so here's our cassette tape. And how it started off is that they're recording notes for each other in class, but then they actually just end up making notes to each other. So it's like, hey, who do you have a crush on? And then I give you the tape, and then you record continuing that because it's just a cassette. And then are you not understanding like how?
No. I mean, I guess I do, but I mean, I was like, all right.
Yeah, you did. Like, you clearly didn't buy into it.
Well, I mean, yeah, because I mean, like, just how they were doing it, they might as well have just been talking on the phone. How they presented it visually and how it was like, I would have liked to have seen like that. Okay, he's answering her and then gives her the tape, like physically gives her the tape.
Yeah, he gives her the tape later on. It's like passing notes, honestly.
Yeah,
it was the equivalent of passing notes, but with audio.
Right.
Yeah, I did that with my friends as a kid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There was that one special friend that you like had little private conversations with.
Sure.
It made sense.
Yeah.
I get what you're saying though. Like, it'd be weird to be like, who do you have a crush on? Give it to them, and then a while later they answer.
Like 2 weeks later, just like, or like the next day.
Did you listen to my tape?
I guess I don't know. I like.
I could see that.
It just seemed to me like it was somebody who didn't grow up with tapes. It was like, oh, it goes like this, and you do this, and you know they're cutting out the whole.
Yeah, it could have been like a product of its time because I certainly did things like that.
Right. No, I definitely think that, but I mean, like just the way they presented it, it was confusing.
Sure.
Because like I was like, okay, then he's answering this, and then they're having this back and forth, but it's and like the time, it seemed like they were just having this conversation. She's at her desk. He's at his desk. I didn't get the passage of time, and that confused me. I guess.
Oh, that's where you. Okay.
So I didn't, and then once I figured out, okay, that's what's supposed to be going on.
Okay.
I was like, I don't know.
Yeah.
It was a little much. That one was a reach for me, but I mean that's because like I said, I didn't catch the
passing of time.
Well, I didn't know if that was supposed to be it.
Yeah, that is definitely what it was supposed to be. My favorite moment of all three of them also comes from the third one, which is when they meet back up in the middle of high school when they're all at different schools, but they're all in high school, right? And it's awkward, and they don't know what to do around each other because they haven't talked to each other in a couple of years. Do you guys remember this?
Yeah.
And he kind of walks her to the bridge, and then she just leaves. And that just, I don't know why, it felt so real. That idea of like not knowing what to say, not knowing what to do.
Well, I think too, and I guess she assumed that he heard her tape.
Yes.
So she's awkward, and then he has no idea.
Right.
So he has no idea what.
That's why I love that. It's a miscommunication, and how that feels. It just felt very visceral to me, I think. Yeah. And so that was Flavors of You. You guys have anything else that you want to add?
It definitely was like very feelings heavy.
Yes.
I definitely got that Gift the Magi vibe of like, if only I had known things could have worked out how we both wanted it. We could have been together.
Sure.
I do get why it's a great story, but it made me sad. The first one was my favorite. I think my favorite shot was like that ramen that they put down, and I was like, oh, that's beautiful. I think I think we were talking earlier about how I'm a very visual person when it comes to certain things, and that could be a lot of the Miyazaki films as far as like beautifully animated food.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, so yeah, visually it was just gorgeous.
If you've played Final Fantasy 15, the food looks just like that. And like it's a huge part of the game, just like making food.
Yeah. It's pretty, and like food aside, like the backgrounds are pretty, the color palette, the like sound. I'm very into that kind of thing when it comes to animation, so I love that.
Yeah, that's why I really like this production studio. Watch Your Name. It's even prettier than this.
I want to. If it looks this good,
it's this good, but better. But it's this good, but like more colorful, kind of like what Studio Ghibli does. Which it's hard to beat, but I like that there's a very clear distinction in like why people are thinking,
it's so good.
Why people like.
That's
Your
why
Name
I
so
watch
much.
a lot of like anime movies is because they're beautiful.
Mhm.
Like,
Yeah.
yeah. So that's the main reason I watch anime movies. Also because
a
they're
lot of
fun.
the reasons I don't watch anime
No,
movies
yeah.
is the stories.
Stories suck. No, obviously,
Yeah.
like the stories matter, but like
Yeah.
sometimes I hate when it's a great story and it's like just an animation style that's so shitty, and I'm like,
Yeah.
oh.
I know that's why people won't watch Clone Wars.
Oh yeah, I don't like that
Yeah.
animation.
I get it.
It's why I was able to watch Panty and Stocking with Garter Belt. I don't know if you watched that, but
That's
it's
a fantastic
horribly
name.
raunchy. It's horribly raunchy, but the animation style is so cute that I was like, I'll watch it. And by the time I watched 2 episodes, I was hooked. And it was so horribly raunchy and just nasty, but it's a cute animation.
Raunchy and nasty from
So
Lexington.
basically, that's what hooked me, was how beautiful it looked. But I liked the first story because I connected it, like everybody said, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
very like gut level, pun intended. I'm very much a foodie. My husband and I both bond over food. Like we watch everything on Hulu that's food related. Yeah.
Great British Bake Off and all that.
Yeah.
stuff.
Oh my God, that's my like go to sleep rainy weather show. But yeah, I think of like what Anthony Bourdain said. It was hard when he passed. He was really awesome, but he talked about how food really is like this very connecting thing for everybody. It's
It's
just
so like culturally
yes,
important.
and like
yeah.
Sure.
I don't know, just like I connected with that one so much, and like so did my husband. That was the one that he was like, oh wow, I get that. Like food is so important.
Mhm.
It's such a cultural thing. It's such an experience that you share with people. And like the other ones were about relationships, and I liked that. Trust me, I love relationship things. I'm a very like emotional person, but this was more like him in his headspace, and like as an introvert,
Right.
I love going to restaurants alone and having a good meal and just like having that time to myself. So I feel like it sucked that his grandma wasn't there, and yeah, it could have been better to like get into the grandma relationship, but that's what the other ones were for. Those other ones were
Gotcha.
for
Okay, they
relationships.
all
This was
focused
more
on
like
their-
from the introvert's point of view who loves food. This was him reflecting on his past, his memories, and his growth.
Gotcha.
So yeah, I read a lot
Here's
into
what
that.
I love about Flavors of Youth,
I
that
agree.
there's something for everyone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
That's
it's
why
different flavors.
it's different flavors. Yeah, very, very, yeah, yes. That was Flavors of Youth. Let's move on to our next review, which is going to be Mary and the Witch's
Cute.
Flower. So this is from a new studio that came out last year, which name I can't remember, but is a spin-off studio from Studio Ghibli. A lot of the people that worked at Ghibli moved over, made their own, and this was the first film, if I'm not mistaken, that their first product, if you will,
Okay.
that
Yeah.
they made.
I like it.
And so let's get into it. How did you guys feel about it?
I was bored. I fell asleep like several times. I think it's like really trying so hard to be Harry Potter.
A little bit.
Again, everything's trying to be Harry Potter tonight.
Can you
But
blame
this,
them?
I know I can't. But,
I wanna be
But
Harry
there's not a
Potter.
lot of things that can like measure
Yeah.
up, and it was very cute. Don't get me
Mm-hmm.
wrong; it was adorable. Tib and Gib are the best part about this. The two cats. Those names are so cute. But I just feel like the story was a little bit like I recycled. Like it's a little bit like
Yeah.
just it's been done before. I feel like the plot wasn't very like
Studio Ponok. That's what it is.
yeah. It was just a little bit boring. I feel like it could have been done much better.
Anybody else?
Yeah.
I agree. Sorry, go ahead.
No. Yeah. The all the artwork was great. Like all the
Yeah,
animation
pretty.
was great. But like I couldn't. It's obviously the people that were at Studio Ghibli
Hmm.
doing their best Studio Ghibli.
Impressions.
You know what I
Right.
mean?
That's what I'm
and
saying. It's like recycled
that.
stuff.
I like that. I do like that, but then again, I was hoping to see maybe something more, something different,
Mm.
Yeah.
stepping outside of that, and it really, it was pretty standard.
Yep.
The whole Harry Potter thing.
Mm.
I did enjoy that they, tried to set their world apart with the whole, science is magic sort of.
That was
angle.
cool.
Right.
It was
Yeah.
different. That was something a little. I kind of wish they'd explored that a little more. Maybe
Okay.
that would have set it apart a little bit. More.
Yeah.
Did it feel quick? It felt fast.
I felt like a lot.
Actually, it
was-
felt
it was a
long
lot in
to
your
me.
face.
Huh.
It
Okay,
felt
never
long
mind.
to me. Maybe
Okay.
it's just because I was
It
bored.
was fast because there was a lot of action, but it was long.
Yeah.
You know
I
what?
get
I
it.
guess maybe I think I watched it in parts too.
That's
Yeah.
why
maybe
it would be a
was-
great episodic type of thing.
Yeah, I think I
Yeah.
watched it in parts. So maybe it was long, but I just felt like the story arc like just really came and went.
Yeah.
Well, the story arc wasn't very much to it. She goes
Right.
and then she goes back and then she goes back.
And then the
basically.
twist,
But, I mean, it
like
was,
the whole twist of the ante.
Yeah,
I don't
yeah.
want to like spoilers. But
Right,
I was
right.
like,
No,
at
yeah,
first
no,
I was
spoil-
all, "Wow, that's so cool!" And then afterwards I was like, "That's
Is
a lot
it
of
good?
time to spend." Like,
Yeah. There's just there's so many better and cooler things that they could have done with this, and I just don't think that it didn't live up to the potential that I think it had.
So,
yeah.
so yeah, as soon as I was done with it, I was on the meh.
Yeah.
On the mess side of things, and I went up to see what Rotten Tomato critical consensus said, which and it's around a 70 or something, maybe a little higher, but the consensus was higher, way higher than I would have given it. I think actually it was like a mid 80s,
Wow.
and
Yeah,
I
it's too high.
like what they said because I actually agreed with it, which is why I would put it lower. But it was like it said something like kind of like standard storytelling, whatever. But so visually amazing, it really boosts the movie,
Sure.
and that's not enough for me.
No.
So
and
I
I don't agree. I think I would. I mean, the one of the parallels is Spirited Away. I think still has better. It just has more like the whole. I mean, even just the world. We get a little glimpse of their world, whereas like Spirited Away, we get the whole.
You
kind
get
of
immersed in the whole
tapestry
world.
of it. You
I-
know?
And I actually, Dylan and I are not like huge fans of Spirited Away, which everybody hates us for. But
How dare you.
Right.
I am actually a bigger fan of what is the other Ghibli movie that's
Ponyo.
Howl's Moving Castle. I
I knew it.
love Howl's Moving Castle like so much, and
Well, you seem
Dylan
like the
does not
type.
like it.
I
I
hate
know
it.
Dylan
I
doesn't
hate
like
that
it.
movie.
It's a little
Um,
spooky, but I like it.
I really like it, so I love that way more than I love Mary and the
So
Witch's
I
love
feel like
Kiki.
what they did.
seen
I've
it
not
yet.
seen Kiki's Delivery
I have to
Service.
watch it. Yeah,
Oh,
I'm a
that's
big
my
like Totoro and Ponyo fan.
Okay, yes.
Yeah, me
Yeah.
too.
Okay,
My-
yeah,
I-
you
my
got me.
favorite's still
Totoro.
Princess Mononoke.
I don't like that
I
one.
don't like that
Really?
one either.
Oh,
I only
wow,
saw it
that
once.
my
It was
favorite.
pretty.
I mean,
I
it's
need to
not
watch it
bad.
more.
It's just like not my favorite. Like I
Sure.
think my favorite ones are the ones that are like the cutesy little kid kind
Ah.
of ones, which are Totoro and Ponyo.
This one was
And
kind of
Howl's
cutesy
Moving
little
Castle.
kid.
So
I
I
liked
agree.
it a little better
I
than
think this
everybody
is
else.
something in between like their rated G Studio Ghibli films and then the PG-13, right? So like
Right.
Mononoke and Kiki's and all that stuff's PG-13, and then
Is it?
Ponyo, and I believe so, and then Ponyo and Totoro are G.
Right.
And you can also see that, and also in kind of their storytelling too, like who their audience is reaching
Yeah.
for, because it's very
Yeah.
simple over here, and then, from what I think is like way too
complex.
convoluted. It's so complex.
This was pretty
Unnecessarily.
complicated.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was my biggest problem.
And then
with
this one,
too.
I thought honestly laid somewhere in the middle, which is where I think they were playing it safe. Honestly, with
well,
this.
With the action.
They
yeah.
were relying on tropes a little too much
Yeah.
for me, but then like in doing so, they had to set up their world, which I was like, okay, and I wasn't like you know, it's the same thing with like the Harry Potter movies that I've seen. I haven't seen them all, but like you know, there was a lot of times where I would want to spend more time in the world, but they're like, oh, Harry Potter's going this way, we're going this way, let's go
Gotcha.
this way, and that's
Books are better.
And then I kind of see
for that.
exactly, and I kind of got the same feel with that even.
I feel
Yeah.
like with this and with Ghibli films, they're very good at like, okay, what's another really cool, weird idea that we can shove into this film? And so, here's like the guys that are part of the army, they turn into these weird duck V-shaped things that like are gonna chomp her. You know what I mean? I feel like they do
Yeah.
that all the time
Yeah.
in the Ghibli, and then in this,
Then this
like
is-
in this, there was also the cave scene, and there was all these animals and
Right.
okay.
So sorry.
Go ahead. No.
I know I talked a lot about visuals earlier, and I know I said that's the only thing I care about. I lied. No, this movie was super cute to watch. Like I liked watching it, and like I'd watch it again, like with a younger sibling. I'd be like, "Yeah, let's watch this," versus
Right.
something you want to watch because you have terrible taste in cartoons.
Because you want to watch Minions
Paw
movie
Patrol.
again for the 50th time.
God damn it! No more Minions movie. No, like I liked it a lot. It's beautifully animated. It's a good kid's story. It's cute. I
Yeah.
like the science is magic. I would
Yeah.
take something like Full Metal Alchemist if we were going
Sure.
that route. Like
Right,
obviously
right,
there's
right.
better, but like it was cute.
Yeah.
To put it up with heavy hitters like Studio Ghibli,
Yeah.
that's kind of where it's like, well, that's where it loses all its steam. Like anything Miyazaki does, I really love. I love the way he writes female characters, and I love the way he does antagonists. I feel like antagonists aren't ever bad guy, like a one bad person. This is the writer nerd in me, like really watching it. It's never one bad person. It's always like a force of nature or a turn of events that cause this character to go on this journey where they change and they discover things and they make friends. And that's why I loved Miyazaki as a kid. This was cool, but it felt a lot like action and like tropes that they relied on.
Yeah.
And there was a real antagonist in the form of a truly bad person. Like it was that
Right.
weird ass doctor and the madam, like,
Yeah.
and they were just truly evil, and they were doing
And
like
they were
some
just evil,
weird
right? They
witch
never got
eugenics
their-
program. Yeah,
They never got their motivations.
it was kind of like they just went
were
from
bad.
like
It's the same reason I didn't like the end of True Detective season 1. It was just some gross bad guy.
you're just like
I feel like that's a bad
it's not
move in
complex,
writing.
yeah.
Yeah. Like it's not Magneto, who
Yeah.
has this
Sure.
huge background.
they built Magneto.
Right.
Even like, and I was going to compare them to Magneto, but he had a plan and he had a
Right.
great backstory. Holy
Right.
cow! So,
Right.
but this was just like, oh, you're a cool witch. I'm a teacher. This is Hogwarts. Oh wait, you lied about how you got your witch powers. Well, now we're gonna like.
Now you have to die.
Now you have to die because we want to turn
Right.
you into
We're
witches,
gonna do this
and
again.
like I was just, it was kind of weird in that. So I didn't like the villains. That's
The
my big
motivation
thing.
wasn't
Yeah, I didn't
No.
like the motive. It was a kids movie that I could appreciate, but don't put it up next to like a Miyazaki
And maybe
film.
that's
Yep.
maybe that's
Maybe.
unfair
Doesn't
too,
deserve
to
it.
compare it,
Sure.
but it's also like inevitable because
the
it's
animation
a-
style, yes. Everything else, heck
Right?
no.
Yeah.
Yep. The story was not nearly
Even
as good
Ponyo,
as
Ponyo being a simple story that's rated
Right.
G.
But Ponyo's so
It
wonderful.
was so precious, and there's
Yeah.
never like a true bad guy. It was very complex, the issues that Ponyo went through. So like when
Yeah.
you're a kid watching it, there's no bad guy to be afraid of. It's just like growth and development and learning how
Sure.
to make new friends. So
Yep.
that's why I really think that's why it doesn't deserve to be put up with those big heavy hitters.
Sure,
Yep.
yeah.
Totally agree.
Sorry, Marion the Witch's Flower.
Yeah,
Watch
you're
Flavors
okay.
of Youth instead.
Yep.
Sure.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely, yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to our
Hey-o.
last little game. We got a little
Rapper
game here
actor.
today.
Oh my
Nice.
god, I forgot about freaking Marky Mark.
So,
Forgot that he was a
uh,
rapper.
That's a good
Every
one.
week we play a
This
last
is a good
blank
one.
standing. Basically, we go through and we eliminate one by one this last blank. In this case, rapper actor standing, and then the last person standing is the best rapper actor of all time. So
Okay.
I
already
I
know
keep
who.
thinking I'm
know.
going to run out of ideas, and then every week something happens.
No, that's
I
a
don't
good
know,
one.
I don't know what
Yeah,
I don't know what came of me. But so there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 rapper actors up there, and there's 4 of us. So we're gonna have to have one of our producers get rid of one of them. He will get rid of the
Dum,
first
dum, dum.
one. So let's just go through them really quickly too. Do you want to name them off for me?
We got, starting from the bottom, was that our left, I guess?
Yeah.
We got Donald Glover.
Mm-hmm.
Then we got Will Smith,
Mm-hmm.
Queen Latifah, Mackie Mac, Common,
Marky
and Ice-T. Yeah, I'm sorry, Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg.
Yeah. No, he's
Also,
Mac-
AKA
Mr. Wahlberg
Marky
too.
Mark.
Gangster cool.
Never
So
forget. Mackie.
producer,
Marky
which
Mark.
one do you want to get rid of first? Common.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ah.
Yeah, he hasn't really
A little
acted in
too
He's-
Oh,
common.
no,
Lots.
he's acting a ton.
Has he?
He's
Hell on Wheels, I think it's called, AMC show.
no, he's
You
popping
haven't
up now.
seen
I think
that
he's-
banger?
He's doing one of those things
Never
where he's
heard of it.
concentrating more on like other things than his music,
Okay.
because he's popped up. Like he's in John Wick.
He's in
He's
a
in two, I think.
lot of things.
He's got a little role in Suicide Squad. He's
Oh.
he's
Yeah, he's
all over
bigger
the
than I
place.
thought.
He kind
never
of
been
just
an
blends
A-list,
in, I feel
though.
like.
Huh?
I feel like it kind of
He
just
does
blends
kind of blend in because he's
I
not
wouldn't-
memorable, clearly.
I wouldn't
'cause
see him and
don't
be
remember
like,
him.
hey,
that's the
on
thing. I don't-
screen.
he hasn't had anything that's really like
a big
Yeah.
role,
like
a
that's
starring
really
role.
that
Not
was
like if
like
I
an
saw Don
actor.
Glover
It wasn't
on
like, oh, here's
screen.
Common. in this
Right.
role.
Yeah.
That's
I mean,
not
don't
like
get me
it.
wrong. I love his music, but
Yeah.
we're judging more on acting than
Yeah.
on rapping.
Yeah.
Sure.
So,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Who wants to get rid of the second one?
Go ahead, Lexi.
I'm gonna say I'm sorry, Queen Latifah.
Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I
No,
I
that's
haven't
fine.
seen her in a while.
That's fine.
Yeah,
Also, can you
sorry,
name a movie that
girl.
you cared about that Queen Latifah was the fighting force behind?
The one with Steve Martin. What was that one called?
Oh,
Bringing Down the House.
Bringing Down the
That
House.
movie was hilarious.
Sure, I'll go with that. I like Steve Martin and Queen
Yeah.
Latifah.
Right.
Yeah.
I keep thinking of Last Holiday.
Yeah.
That was an old one,
That
but
was
I
an
like
old
it.
one.
That's just the
No,
first
she
one that
was-
came to mind.
She was all right.
I liked it as a kid. We'll go with that.
Yeah.
I don't mind
Bye,
getting rid of the
Queen
next
Latifah.
one. I'm gonna get rid of Ice-T.
Okay, yeah.
All right,
yeah.
all right.
Law and Order, but you
That's
know what?
it.
That's okay.
That's pretty much
really
it.
They
it.
found
Oh,
fecal
he's
matter in
he's
the ear
Tank Girl.
canal.
But he's
Girl?
not. Yeah,
Whoa,
he's one of
what?
the Rippers.
I didn't know
It's a
that.
Tank Girl.
Yeah, Tank Girl. the
Tank
movie?
Girl from the
It's
like
based on the
comics,
comic books.
Ah.
from the dude who animated Gorillas.
Yes.
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 Oh.
That guy.
I'm a diehard Gorillas fan.
Yeah. I forget his name.
I love
but
the
Gorillas
Gorillas.
is awesome.
He does a lot of voice acting too, actually, apparently, because he's got the voice
He's got
for
the
it.
Rick and Morty when he was Water Tea.
No,
Oh,
that was
nice.
Dan Harmon, the creator.
Nice.
Who did Water
Yeah,
Tea?
he does a very good impression of.
You just
of
rocked my
Ice-T.
world.
Yeah.
I don't know how I didn't know that.
Yeah,
I'm just
yeah.
so obviously they got Iced Tea in. It's Rick and Morty,
and
of
then-
course.
He did a lot of action, kind of throwaway 90s action movies. Those
Yeah.
Surviving the
He was in
King.
21. No, that's Ice Cube.
That was
Wrong
Ice
ice.
Cube.
Wrong.
Wrong
ice.
Other ice.
I was about to hype it up, but
His
I didn't
brother.
remember.
Yeah.
The
All right,
smaller
who's
of
gonna
the
do the next one?
ices.
I'll go next.
Which one you choosing next?
Mark Wahlberg.
There you go.
Wahlberg.
Goodbye.
All right,
Goodbye,
get
Mark
rid of the
Wahlberg.
Wal-
Marky
Get rid of the
Mark.
Marky Mark.
Mm-hmm.
Does a lot of good movies.
He's a good actor,
Yeah.
but
He got away with
I think he's a
Sorry.
good funny
Yeah.
man.
bye.
He's a funny man.
Yeah, he
He
shouldn't
was
be.
good in Pain and Gain.
Yeah,
Mm.
That was great. It's old.
Does this leave it to you?
he's okay. He's pretty good.
Are you choosing?
I guess so.
Yeah, you got to choose
Who's
between
left?
Donald Glover
And
and
Will
Will
Smith.
Smith,
Oh, shit.
which
I'm
is I suspected it was going to be between.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know
Yeah.
you're going to choose them to be mad at you.
Oh, that's fine. You know what? I'm choosing.
To get rid of.
I'm choosing to get rid of Donald.
Yeah.
You son of a gun.
He's got time, man. He's got lots of time. We got more
Yeah.
movies.
Yeah, look at that.
all right,
More
all
movies
right.
to see.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Whereas
That's
Will
high level
Smith?
production.
I
right
feel
there.
like you're the type of person who adopts senior
I
dogs.
love Big Willie.
That was really,
Right.
that was really nice.
Will Smith, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air was like I grew up on it.
Oh my
Sure.
god,
I've
so
watched
good.
every,
So
maybe
freaking
not every
good.
episode, but most
DJ
of the episodes
Jazzy
over
Jeff.
and over. DJ Jazzy Jeff.
Yep.
It was just the best. He's got a little halo on him now.
I will never forget I Am Legend.
He's the
Honestly-
Fresh Prince.
Honestly,
I
I
mean,
think he's maybe Marky Mark, but I think Will Smith probably opened the door for everybody else. Honestly,
He
Yeah.
is an icon. That's fair. Don Glover just came in swinging.
he's still
He's
I mean,
like
not-
the
I'm not
hot young
saying-
thing.
I'm still
Yeah.
Speaking of
saying
Icon, listen
he's getting
to
more-
the song Icon by his son. Very
Jaden.
good. Jaden Smith.
that
Oh,
album
he's a
is
sweet
His
rapper.
kids are
legitimately
interesting.
like good, and Dylan and
Nice.
I were very surprised that Jaden Smith came out with a good album.
I like Will
That's
Smith as
cool.
a dad. He just lets his kids do their thing. He
Yeah.
doesn't like try to micromanage them the way Billy Ray
Yeah.
Cyrus did with
His
No.
wife does a really cool like round table sort of talk show where she like actually has her kids on the show and they talk about like very taboo topics like sex with one another, and it's so
What?
interesting.
What
It
is
is
that
fucking
called?
Fascinating. I don't know, but it's with
Keeping
Jada,
Up with the
Jada
Smiths.
Pinkett Smith, something like that.
Yeah, right.
It's very,
That
very.
sounds
What's her
way
daughter's
more-
name?
It's
Willow.
fascinating.
Jada. Willow.
Willow.
Yeah, that show gets very graphic. Like Willow's talking about like the sizes of the penis. No, I'm just kidding.
No.
I was all,
No,
wow, is
but
this
like
Really?
there
Yeah.
is like there is
Willow,
like an
no.
episode where like she takes her mom to get like vaginal rejuvenation or something.
Oh my god.
Okay.
It's freaking
Oh.
amazing. It's so interesting.
That
I don't
is
know why, but it
interesting.
is so interesting.
Look at all these image awards.
Yeah.
Yeah,
anyway.
Will Smith also probably has the biggest resume amongst all
yeah.
these
Sure.
people. And like
Yeah.
you said, like somebody, like one of you said, like paved the way.
Yeah,
Right.
Like-
fair.
And
Like-
he's actually legitimately a great actor.
He's
Like
so
if
good.
you
Yeah, he
think
is.
about like movies like Pursuit of
Oh
Happiness.
my gosh.
Yeah.
So
Well,
good.
he's the one
I
too.
watched it as a
I
kid.
think everybody else and I'm throwing Marky Mark in there, and he's the only one that's done some acting, whereas everyone else is kind of just being that. Like Ice-T is Ice-T.
Yep.
Yeah.
He's
He'll
not.
always
He's
be
a
Common,
the
Common
novelty.
is kind of he's getting there.
He's
but
kind of a
still-
character actor too.
Kind
though.
of, he's getting there. I
Yeah.
wouldn't say that just yet. He's still just common.
Mark Wahlberg's
mostly.
pretty
Queen
good.
Latifah is like
Mark
pretty
Wahlberg's
much
coming
always
up.
Queen Latifah.
I think
Yeah.
the runner-up
As Queen Latifah.
was what it should have been. I think it's Donald Glover.
Donald
Watching
Glover's
him
a
do
really
He's
good
that-
actor.
just where is he gonna go? No one knows.
because
He's-
he can do
he can
everything.
go anywhere.
He could do
He's
it all.
like a
He's
triple
incredible.
threat. This dude.
Yeah, well,
I'm
I just-
convinced he's
yeah.
actually three people. They're all twins.
Yeah.
Triplets.
There's
They're
a great
all
article about
triplets.
that. What's his rap name?
Childish Gambino
Gambino.
actually
the
was a
article
different
title
person.
was,
Exactly
was
alike.
Childish Gambino. Guys, I have a I have a sense that Childish Gambino and Donald Glover are the same person, and here's why.
And
And
here's
it's just like
why.
a list of 20 things of like they have the same girlfriend. They
They look alike.
Wear the same
they look
clothes
like-
on the same day.
yeah, it's awesome. It's
Similar
such a good
voice.
Yeah.
That's
Sweet. I'm very happy Will Smith won. He
Yay.
deserves it.
It's fair.
There's a lot of things.
I'm
It is
mad,
fair.
but it's fair.
And now we're gonna move into our last segment.
Cool.
Okay.
It is called trailers.
Yeah, yo.
We should
Trailers.
probably come up with something more fun.
It's
Super trailers.
No, trailers
Super
are
trailers.
like, you know
That's
what?
what we're doing.
I am one of those weird people that likes to get to the movie
I love trailers.
early so that I can
Oh, yeah.
get my popcorn, get my drink, go in, get situated, actually get a decent seat, and then I can watch all the trailers. I
Yeah.
love
Same.
doing that. And even though I do this show now, I still want to get to the movies early to watch all the trailers. And Dylan's
Sure.
like, you've already seen all
With
of them.
the
I'm like,
popcorn.
no, I haven't. Last night I went to the movies. I saw 8th Grade and I saw a bunch of trailers that I've never seen before. And
love
so
that.
like I just love watching trailers. So
I get you.
trailers are exciting, people.
It's like a
They
mini
are.
movie for free.
Yes.
Mini movie for free. Some trailers are
Here we
good,
go.
some trailers are bad. We're gonna find out with the kindergarten teacher. Let's give it a watch.
So tell me about you. What do you do?
I teach kindergarten.
That's such a delicate thing, right?
Nice.
That's Maggie.
You give the kids something and then they have it forever.
Is that Gael
Yeah.
Garcia Bernal?
The sun hits our yellow house.
Game of
It's
Thrones?
almost like
No.
a sign from God.
He kind of looks like
Was that a poem? That was a poem. The sun hits her yellow house. It is almost like a sign from God.
Wow. With so few elements, he makes something very, very complex.
I think we have a young Mozart. If you stay curious, then you can see the world however you want. Like a cat. I've asked Jimmy to recite a few of his poems at a poetry reading.
Forget it. On Thursday, he has baseball practice with his friend.
But he's gifted, Mr. Roy.
I want my son to have a normal life.
Jimmy, hi. It's Lisa.
Why are you calling me? It's almost like a sign from God. Why are you upset?
I loved it. Talent is so fragile and so rare, and our culture does everything to crush it. Hey, Jimmy. Hi.
Hi.
Turn that. Push it to the left.
Oh no.
Mozart was nurtured by kings and queens. They massaged his tired hands. They fed him candy. We're going to recite your poems. And we're going to publish a book that has your name on it.
Hello, can you help me?
Oh no.
That changed so
Only on Netflix.
fast.
Oh my god, that
That's
took a turn so
great.
fast. God
I was
damn,
getting
I
so
love Maggie.
nostalgic.
I love
was
Maggie
like, oh,
Gyllenhaal.
I'm gonna cry.
You
It's
know
so
what I haven't
cute.
seen though? That movie that she got nominated for a bunch of stuff for. It's called like An Honorable Woman or something like that.
Power Ranger? No, she wasn't in that.
I really want to watch that movie. Because
don't know.
she is a phenomenal actress.
Yeah, she's great.
We're about to find
Love
out what
the
movie you were talking
Gyllenhaals.
about, Jess.
Gyllenhaal.
Love the Gyllenhaals.
Both of them, yeah.
I know
Oh.
they're both wonderful.
Damn, she has such a long IMDb.
Yeah, I was gonna say, wow, look at that.
And if you watch Donnie Darko, you can watch them both at the same time, playing
Yes.
actual
Oh, it's the wrong
brother and
Gyllenhaal.
They
sister.
need to do that
Oh,
again.
no.
They need to do it again.
It's Maggie Gyllenhaal. Yeah, there you go.
Matt Gyllenhaal.
So let's see. She most recently did a show about the Honorable Woman was the last kind of movie that I've heard of her
Political
she was really good in.
Okay.
And I just heard a lot of really good things about it. So I would like to go back and watch that just so I can kind of prepare myself for this kind of a movie. But she's phenomenal. I love her. Yeah.
This was a great trailer. I like that they showed that twist in there because now you're even more inclined, I think, to watch.
Oh my god! And that little boy is so adorable.
Precious.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and they did a good job of not showing the resolution, what's going to happen. They teased it a little bit with like the help me phone call. But as soon as he was in the playground, which you think it's going to be cute, you're just like, can you just lift that up real quick?
That's when my gut dropped. I was all,
and then when he calls and he's like, can you help me?
I just said that.
Oh my god.
And the piano music we were talking about, the one little ding, and then it flashes to the next scene.
Yeah.
They did that well. I know that's like an overused thing, but they did that well.
They did, yeah.
Damn.
I'm kind of creeped out. I don't like the vibes. I don't like.
You don't like
the.
You don't like kidnapping stories?
Have you guys watched? Have you guys watched the movie Room? Not the Room. Not the Room.
Don't talk
Room.
about it.
Just Room. It's like sort of a kidnapping movie, and it's got this little boy in it. It is so good. It has the actress that's going to play Captain Marvel, Brie Larson, and she, I think, won an Oscar for it. I think.
She got at least she got nominated. I don't know.
I think she won.
She did win. Nice.
And she deserved it. I mean, it is a really good movie. If you guys want to see her in a serious role, it is a phenomenal movie.
I think we should just do a like one full day where we just watch all the kidnapping movies.
Oh god.
Taken.
I've never seen Prisoners.
Just kidding.
I heard that's really good.
All the Takens.
All the Takens.
All the Takens. Let's do it.
Yeah, but this looks really good.
How many times can they get taken?
Took it.
And Gael Garcia Bernal. Oh.
There you go.
My Latin
this looks
lover.
Great. It looks beautifully done.
This is and I like too that it's like she's like it's like he's a mini Mozart.
I'm a little sad because it looked like the next like Dead Poet Society. I was like, yay, it looks so inspiring. But like, this looks cool too.
And you wanted to dislike the parents because they're not bringing him to his full potential.
Right, but they want him to be normal.
But they don't want him to get kidnapped.
Yes.
And it's also like the thing
like
about
every
like,
parent.
But then you realize in the end, it's all for selfish reasons. Like that's really going to be the crux of the story.
She wants her little Mozart baby, maybe more. I don't know. I didn't like the implications of some of those shots.
Yeah.
Oh really?
Sure.
I really didn't.
Like in the bra and
the whole like him like touching her like thigh and then him in that room and he said help me.
Oh.
And then like the way she like picked it. Sorry, I like read too much into this. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I'm off. But like
you
just
could be
like
absolutely right.
The way this is beautifully shot, I think is very intentional, and I just don't like the vibes I'm getting.
Well, and like
I'm very nervous. I think it's gonna be well done. But
there
I'm very
can be
nervous.
too much. I mean, there are people whose parents push them so hard to do well in school and in life that they end up committing suicide. I mean, this is just not like
Sarah something.
The majority of people I know with anxiety and depression as 20-something-year-olds were those kids that were very pushed as children, and they never got to be creative. They always got pushed to be whatever.
Were like pushed into
one
career
gender norms. Did you hear the daddy's like he has baseball practice? He can't do poetry, so definitely like some gender norm stuff. I don't know if they're gonna address that.
Right, but it's true. Like I just think like having kids is hard. Being a parent is hard.
Gross. That's why I have dogs.
This is why we don't have either.
Dogs are a lot of work too.
Let's move on to our next trailer. So what do we got coming up here?
It's
I'd give that a watch for sure.
Definitely gonna watch.
Watch trailer number 2 for The Nutcracker and the Four Realms. You'll be able to sit there.
The Nutcracker?
The Nutcracker.
I don't know. Looks kind of lame.
This time has been difficult for all of us. But Christmas comes. We must do our best to enjoy it.
I don't want to enjoy anything right now. I wish not away. Don't you think I know exactly where I stand?
Your mother was the cleverest inventor I ever knew. And there was never any doubt when I asked what her greatest creation was. You.
Just a girl. Your mother created our world.
Ugh,
My mother
I hate her
made all
voice
of
like that.
this.
Sounds so awful. It's Keira Knightley.
She was our queen.
At your service, Princess Clara.
Princess.
The future of the realms lies with you.
This does look very
Be careful who you trust.
It looks super
I've been expecting you.
Just a girl.
Kind of Narnia.
Mother
that Ginger wants to rule the round.
Ew. Kira, stop doing that ugly voice.
I'm going to fix it. Can you help me?
It's time to save the kingdom.
Oh, come on,
Morgan Freeman has an iPad.
She's going to destroy everything my mother created.
Are you ready?
No.
You're not ready.
I'm not. I'm not watching that.
I
Want to
really
know
hate
why?
this song.
Yeah, well, I hate the song.
Too edgy for me.
It's very Tim Burton-like, and Tim Burton has not been killing it. I mean, he's been killing it, but in a bad
is this
way.
even Tim Burton?
No, but it looks like
it's
him.
Disney. Disney's been going very Tim Burton.
Right, and it's just like, ooh.
It looks like something I'd go watch the
boring.
Dollar Theater if like
There's nothing else.
if like my younger sibling was like, "Hey, you bored? You want to go see a movie at the Dollar Theater?" I'd be like, "Yeah,
Right.
Let's watch the Nutcracker.
let's go. It's
Sure.
November. Let's
Or
go."
you could watch the cartoon version, which is so much better.
Or if you're doing well financially, splurge and go see the real ballet.
Right.
Oh,
so beautiful.
and you'll feel like a smarter person afterwards. Not like,
And the tickets are,
it's true.
if you want to sit in the balcony, the tickets are actually pretty cheap at UNM at Pope Joy. They're like $12. So
it's worth
Okay,
it. We're
so this
plugging
movie
this.
was-
We're plugging the ballet.
Dual directed
Les
by
Hallstrom.
Les Hallstrom, who did almost all of the ABBA music videos, and then nominated for Academy Award for Best Director of My Life as a Dog, which came out in
He's
'85.
done a lot of
Ugh.
stuff.
And then Joe Johnson was the other director here, who did Honey, I Shrunk the Kids, Jumanji, Jurassic Park 3, the best of the Jurassic Parks.
Ah.
I'm just kidding.
You
And
better
The
be.
Rocketeer. Yeah.
Jumanji's
Okay,
good.
The Rocketeer was good. You know what? No, this is not going to be good. I'm sorry. I
agree.
really have no hope for this.
Well, okay, so
And Keira
all
Knightley's
these-
voice sounds garbage.
It looks like Alice in Wonderland too. That's what it
That's-
reminds me
looks
of.
like what they're
That's
going.
what I'm saying.
Well, that's the
Tim
problem.
Burton.
Like, you'll watch it,
Go ahead.
The Nutcracker Suite is one that they haven't really been able to crack anyway.
Eh.
It doesn't look like. Oh. Damn straight. You're damn right. So I mean, it looks like they're trying to tell that story with the Alice in Wonderland skin, I guess.
Yeah.
All the computer things they had left
They're
over.
like super edgy, hot topic, story tale telling.
Hot Topic.
You know what
Hot
I'm talking
Topic,
about?
yeah, they're
like
definitely gonna sell
the
some Hot
merchandise
Top-
for this is definitely gonna be in Hot Topic
Yeah.
come
Yeah.
Christmas.
They're gonna sell those like leggings that go up to the thighs, and then they have like a little bow on them, and it's gonna be like Nutcracker.
Radio.
There's gonna be a cool button with Morgan Freeman eye patch and like
Morgan
a
eye
phrase.
patch.
It's like time to kick some nuts
It's
or
like,
something.
oh,
Time to
something
kick
stupid.
some nuts.
They're gonna like
Oh
sell
my
tutu
God.
dresses.
I wanna
and
see that
everyone's gonna
movie.
be
I
like
wanna
wearing
see
tutu
that movie
dresses.
that
Time to
Talking
kick
about.
Eye
some
patch Morgan
nuts.
Dear
Freeman.
God.
Just-
Yeah.
He is
Didn't
the
also
Nutcracker.
Morgan Freeman get into trouble with some sexual harassment stuff recently?
Did it involve the
Probably what he
Nutcracker?
did.
Because I
He
see
was
why.
cracking nuts.
It was cracking nuts. It's time to crack some
He's
nuts.
cracking all
I
the
didn't see
nuts.
his name on anything.
Or
What
not
did
cracking
he-
enough nuts.
Oh
know what I'm
no!
saying?
Wait, was it
Anyway.
a sexual thing? Please don't be. Please.
There was a sexual
Morgan.
harassment thing. I think there was
Damn
like
it,
6
Morgan.
women came forward. I could.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. We
Oh,
talked about
Guys,
that.
stop.
Today
fucking
was
things up and being
Jeffrey.
perverts. God damn
Today
it.
it was Jeffrey. Gosh, the guy from Pirates of the Caribbean.
Rush.
He was accused.
Timbre already got his.
no.
Who did he play?
He
Wasn't Johnny Depp.
Barbosa.
Oh,
He was
Yeah.
shy.
I
Did
kind
he
of
play
see
Johnny
it.
Depp? I can't remember.
So
He should have.
I mean, pretty much they're going down the list of the Pirates movies and saying, "Oh, that guy's a sexual harassment guy. That guy's a harasser. That guy's a harasser." So
I hope I'm gonna go
Gross.
through YouTube and find all the other reviews for Nutcracker in the Four Realms. I'm gonna see if it's anything like the one that we're having, right?
So it's like Disney.
Doubt
Disney,
Talk about
can you
sexual
can you
harassers.
get your shit together, Disney? Because you
Stop
know what?
cracking actual nuts,
Well,
please.
stop making these stupid live action movies and then firing James Gunn for
Oh my
saying
God.
something years and years ago that's not even relevant.
There's a
Like, you're
whole
being
story
change.
too, and like Marvel's fighting to get him back, and Disney,
Yeah.
Disney's,
Disney, you're sucking.
Disney said something
Majorly.
like along the lines of like, "This is near impossible. Like we're
I hate
probably
that
not
they
gonna be able to."
chose to like get on their high horse and be like, "Oh, let's do the morally right thing, and it'll look good for PR" on James
Yeah.
Gunn.
And,
Yeah,
and they
I-
followed a like fascist right wing
Yeah,
person
Pundit,
that said
yeah.
this.
yeah.
So it's like, ugh, stupid Disney. Come on. now.
So I have a question. Justin and I were talking the other day. I can't remember what it was, but we were trying to find the last like good live action Disney
movie.
Winnie the Pooh.
Christopher Robin.
Christopher Robin.
Okay, I guess
so
that's
very
brand
recently.
new. Okay.
Aren't the
What
Marvel
about
movies
ones that?
technically
Oh,
Disney?
we were talking about Cool
Marvel.
Runnings.
Hey,
Fucking
I
Cool
mean that wasn't
Runnings
the
is
last good
amazing.
Disney
Okay,
movie.
but by that I mean like movies in that vein that are
aren't
kind of
Disney
like
related.
that. You know what I mean? With it's almost its own story.
Okay.
It's also doesn't have that
See
like
Queen of Cotway.
no.
I want to watch
That's
that.
The chess
she's
player?
The chess player. Yeah.
Okay.
From
Oh yeah.
Is that Lupita Nyong'o?
I think she's.
It looks like it's new.
She's in it, right?
She's in it. Yeah.
Very
It
cool.
It
looked
came out last
cute.
year, I think.
I think so. Yeah.
Newish.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was Disney, but I
Disney.
think that was more in the vein of like Cool Runnings.
I
than,
loved Cool Runnings.
Alice
Oh,
in
man.
Kiss the
Looking
egg.
Glass.
It's a feel good movie.
What was their last movie that wasn't the live act? Because we had Beauty and the Beast, and then
Maleficent.
yeah,
Maleficent. I liked Maleficent.
did
It was
they have a live
visually
action
pleasing.
That wasn't one of those.
It's a bad movie.
Marvel.
So the
Doesn't
best,
count.
most
Oh,
recent,
wow.
Because that's obviously
well,
gonna be
Marvel,
the best one.
obviously the Marvel movies
Winner.
are good, but the best, most recent like live action that they remade from cartoons is Cinderella.
But
I think-
producer's fingers on fire.
I don't think Beauty and the Beast was that great. The remake.
see that.
I don't think Maleficent was that great.
It's pretty.
It was pretty, but I really don't think the acting was that
you
great.
gotta bring down that visual.
so that's literally
aspect.
I
it,
really
It's not a
think
good
that
movie.
I wasted money
Cinderella,
on it,
in
it's
terms
all.
of acting, Cinderella was the best live action. Like
Really?
But was it
Disney.
good?
I liked it.
Did
I actually
Disney
liked
do
it.
Into the Woods? They didn't.
No.
I don't know. I don't remember.
Oh,
I don't think
they
so.
did. I think it was another Tim Burton Big Fish. Did they do Big Fish?
That's
They didn't
old.
that was him, but that wasn't.
Oh, was
Disney.
That wasn't
Disney
Disney.
Yeah.
Big
That
Fish
movie's
was
so good.
great.
That
I
was
forgot
like
about
the
that.
last good Tim Burton movie.
That-
That was
Yeah.
really old though. That's from like early 2000s.
National
Oh,
Treasure.
National Treasure.
That
You know
was
what?
the last
It was
good
good.
Disney.
I
That was
liked-
a National
What it
Treasure
was.
was a National
No,
Treasure.
the pacifier. That's what it was. The
That was pretty
Pacifier
cute. That was
was
pretty cute.
good.
There has to be more recent ones.
Best live action
I like
Disney.
Sky
Chronicles
High.
of Chronicles
Sky
of Narnia
was good.
5.
Oh no.
The Shaggy Dog.
I mean, you know
Oh,
what?
Glory Road.
All right, let's move on to our next trailer.
Yeah.
This
This
can go
looks
on
bad.
So
This is
big
I
fat,
can roast it
big
forever.
fat skip.
Big fat skip.
Yeah. No.
Let's watch the
Yeah.
trailer for The After Party.
Is that guy from Workaholics gonna be in this? Probably.
Hello, it's Young O. How you doing? Hi. I like all real shit in front of me and all bullshit aside. I've been sick with it my whole life and I ain't even die. Yo, wrote 100,000 raps and never had to lie. I watched Passion of the Christ twice and I ain't even cry.
That the flush of a record deal, Ramel?
Ramel is in LA. That's his intern, Bernard.
Look, yo, we've been going hard for like 3 years.
Hey, Owen.
I got a show.
Owen is a rapper.
Oh, cute. Tonight, this show is gonna get us the deal. Tonight's about fate. It's about murdering that mic out there. That's Wiz Khalifa.
Do you think? Thanks, fam.
I know this will come as no surprise to anyone here, but Wiz Khalifa has some incredibly strong weed.
Of course, he's Wiz Khalifa.
Young O is the one they know so well. Real recognize, really, your name ring no bell.
I knew it was that bad.
Yo, Wiz, this shit is strong. I'm smacked.
I guess that is bad.
I hope that's not my Yeezys, bro.
Whoa.
So they're calling him Seizure Boy, and they even have a Seizure Boy.
You're Seizure Boy.
Nah.
This is actually what would happen.
Right.
This is the most realistic.
Is it over for this guy?
Stick a fork in him, he's done.
What's the name, hand boy? Let it go.
Your rap career
All
is
because
not
it was
over.
Khalifa's
In
weed.
9th grade, I told you that if you let me be your manager, I would go ham for you. Tonight, the after party to end all after parties. Everyone in the game will be there. French Montana.
T Grizzly?
Yo, this is Pusha T. All you have to do is spit a fire verse, and then we got ourselves a record deal.
You got a plan to get us in.
The kid always comes through in the clutch.
The kid rarely comes through in the clutch.
Yeah, she's got a point. The kid basically never comes through in the clutch.
If y'all want to get in here, come back with a whole lot of bitches. Or don't come back at all.
Do you want to come to the after party?
No.
What's the name, hand boy? Let it go.
Yo, that's the Seizure Boy, right?
Like Jessica. How do we get a record deal before the sunrise?
DJ Khaled!
Bro, you gotta chill, man.
Bless up.
Bless up. What's up?
Totally.
Nice. Jadakiss. I love Jadakiss.
What is this Froze drink that everybody's going on about in all their songs? Is it Frozen Rosé? Because if that's what it is, then I need some of that. Just saying. Right.
What's with this pickle slushy? They should do that with margaritas.
Hell yeah.
Oh wait, that's
We're
already
getting way
what
off
margaritas
topic.
are.
But anyway, this looks funny.
It made me want to drink.
I laughed hard twice. The first one was that GIF. Where
Seizure Boy.
That was actually really funny.
It's like Soulja Boy, but
I'll watch
Seizure Boy.
it. I'll hang out with my homies and watch this.
Yeah,
Just like on the couch.
I think it has to be with your homies.
It's
It has to be
series,
with your
right?
homies.
Or is it a movie?
I think it's just a movie.
Oh, okay. On Netflix though.
That's what it said. Yeah, Netflix.
Also, the dude from Workaholics wasn't in here, so that's a bonus. I'm so happy.
You
I'm
don't
so
like the
sick.
dude. Which one?
I'm just
Which
tired.
dude?
The dude.
Curly
with the
hair?
punchable face.
Oh.
He was in Pitch Perfect.
Okay.
What is his Adam Levine?
They should all
No.
be punched though.
He
right?
looks like a little tiny boy.
Yes.
In a man's body.
Oh,
He's in
yes,
every
yes,
party
yes.
movie.
Yeah.
He really
Yeah.
is in every party movie now.
He is. That's why I thought he would be in here. I'm like, he's gonna show up.
This
No,
is a
this
much
is
better
a
premise than I would
film
have thought.
by World Star Hip Hop,
right?
What?
Yeah.
I kind of want to watch it too.
I want to watch it just for that. Just
That's
to see what
weird.
they're.
I
about,
kind of liked what they're putting
doing.
down. There's Wiz Khalifa. I like him.
Yeah, yeah.
It's Chris Rock's. I believe it's Chris Rock's brother.
Yeah, he's in the show
He's in Love.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
he's really good
which
in
is
that.
also a Netflix
With
original.
who is he?
He's the guy that works the concession, not the concessions. The what's it
Gas
called?
station?
No, the table with the food. What's
Oh,
that called,
craft
guys?
services?
Craft services. Yeah.
Oh, he's Gus's friend. I
Yes.
love.
Yes. Loves
Yeah,
love.
I love
great.
Love.
I love Love too.
Everyone should love Love.
This, I think, the white dude in the movie is to get the white audience. Does anybody else think that?
Totally.
He looked like a weird generic guy.
That's what I'm
I was like
saying.
kind of distracted.
Nobody knows who
He
this
was
guy
like,
is.
I
I
don't
think he's the
I like
audience,
movies
white
when you
audience
don't know
He's the
surrogate.
white. Yep.
Yeah.
He's the white audience surrogate.
I mean, it would have been cool to see like a kind of more caramely person like myself.
Caramel. Yeah,
Or,
yeah.
you know,
like Hispanic.
like
maybe,
a
or,
yeah,
you know?
Hispanic-ish. You know, somebody that's not that guy that looked like weirdly plastic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He definitely looked like
And it's
someone
not
you'd
really
see fighting on
believable.
World Star.
Like you know,
it's
like
believable from World Star.
yeah.
He kind of look. I don't know. Maybe I'm being mean.
I don't know.
He looked like someone from a World Star video who'd be recording, not actually fighting.
Yeah.
Right.
And his name is Dylan.
Yes. Yep, that's it. I am caramel too. Yeah, this was interesting. I mean, I certainly like see the premise. I don't think this is a new thing. They did an 8 Mile too. Basically, nobody believes this guy can rap, and then he can rap.
And then he
right?
can rap.
Yeah.
Yep.
Uh,
But holy mother, that's some strong ass weed.
Is he okay? That was
That's
unusual. Wow.
That's actually what
You need to
happened
get
to me
that
the first
checked.
time the first and last time I ever smoked weed. That
Holy
is how sick
cow.
I got, and that is why I've never smoked weed ever again.
What on
She had that
earth was
seizure
that?
on
You were a
stage.
seizure boy?
No, I didn't have seizures, but
Oh
but
my
I puked
God.
that much.
That's
wow.
insane.
So
Jesus
The
Christ.
first
might
time I
be
did,
allergic.
I took a nap. I've heard of people being allergic, and
Uh-huh.
that's so crazy.
yeah, somebody
That's-
just mentioned that to me the other day. They're like, you know,
sucks.
you might be allergic. I'm like, oh
People can
man.
be allergic to everything.
I could have been allergic to anything, peanuts, but no weed.
Listen,
I
after
guess I'll
party.
never
Probably
meet
lucked
Wiz
out there,
Khalifa.
though.
I know,
Peanut
fuck.
allergy sucks.
He's made of weed, apparently. Don't shake his hand, you'll
Right.
sneeze.
Oh.
Whatever. He divorced Amber Rose. He didn't know what he was
Yeah,
missing.
he-
Yeah.
Yeah.
Don't know what you got till it's
yeah,
gone.
It's probably a skip for me.
Yeah,
I'd watch it with my homies.
I'll cue it probably.
You'll queue it, put on your queue on your
I'll
room.
rent.
If
I'll rent.
If I was doing what Wiz Khalifa does, I'd watch this with my homies.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
That's my standard.
You know what? I am curious. Like I would watch it just to see what World Star Hip Hop
What
is
they're
trying
putting
to
out.
do.
What's
Yeah,
up.
you know. I mean that alone would I might
True.
give it a watch. So.
I would watch it just to listen to the music, honestly, because it sounds like
that's
it has a
actually
good
That'd be a good
soundtrack.
one, yeah. Hopefully.
Yeah.
Yeah,
at least
yeah,
one.
yeah.
That'd be cool.
I'm
give
all
it a
about
watch.
Jadakiss.
Yep.
Yeah.
I would watch this long before I watched Nutcracker.
Yeah.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
But-
So, yeah.
Okay, cool. Let's move on to
Yeah.
But wait, there's more.
our last of the day. It is called Spark of Greatness.
All right.
Nice.
It has Jim Carrey. so I'll
Showtime
wait.
series.
There's a spark of greatness inside each and every one of us.
Oh God, I'm afraid of kindergarten teacher.
Shut up.
In you, in me, there's a lovely light.
What is this music? It's great.
I'm all hooked. I'm hooked.
It sounds like
never go out.
the band that I like.
Oh, I know what
the
this is.
Looping.
Yeah, he's like a Mr. Rogers
How
character.
did you get out of the television?
Is he like Patch Adams, but funny?
Where did you get your strength from?
You.
I love her.
Yeah. From Garfunkel and Oates, right?
Yes.
Yes, she's Garfunkel. She's one of them.
It's not a circle. It's a hole.
And when you screw a woman you just met and she doesn't call you back, it's not because her phone is broken. She doesn't like you.
Aww.
What is that?
His soundtrack, though.
Yeah.
Yep. This looks like Eternal Sunshine.
I have a tremendous amount of pent-up anger inside me. And every day it grows and grows. And I don't know where it's coming from or how to stop it. I am magma from the neck down.
She's great.
Jeff, we don't have to do this today.
Wow.
Nice.
Oh yeah,
That was
looks
called Spark
great.
of Greatness.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's
Oh,
what I
okay.
did too. I think it was the name of the
Yeah,
trailer.
okay. Oh.
I really like the schizophrenic kind of trailer cutting they
It's
were
a
doing.
series.
It's a series, and like it has practical effects. You can tell it has like
Yeah.
practical
A lot.
effects,
Look
which
at
is
that, like, even
amazing.
the-
It's,
yeah, it looks.
Michel Gondry. That's what I thought.
It looks so
I'm
freaking
excited.
weird,
Yeah,
but I'm
right?
into it.
What has
Of all the previews.
Michelle done?
Eternal Sunshine.
Eternal Sunshine. Okay.
Spotless Mind.
Was
and,
that
Did I
Yellow
not just say
Ostrich?
that?
Yeah.
It sounded
Oh my
like was that
gosh.
Yellow Ostrich the
I don't
band?
think so.
It sounded like
A
them.
little bit,
I'm so
but
excited.
yeah, the music was great.
Definitely gave me that Eternal
If you guys
Sunshine
like
vibe.
that,
Yeah, for sure.
Loved it.
oh my gosh, Eternal Sunshine's so good. If you guys like that music, listen to the band Yellow Ostrich because it sounds like
They're
that.
Yeah.
fun. Yeah.
I'm already ready.
Science of Sleep. I think that's a good one too. Guy Ogerson Vanel's in that one.
Yeah, I never
Signs
watched
of
that.
It's
Sleep.
really good.
Watched
Yeah,
that one.
that's
I
good.
wanted to though.
Had a similar look. I remember when
Definitely,
it came
yeah.
out.
It's got well. I mean, I think that's just Michel Gondry. So
Gotcha.
that's his. This is his look. That's
Weird,
his look.
sort of.
Like,
I love the
and
cast.
he does a lot of in like what you were talking about practical. He does a lot of like in camera and practical things, like
Gotcha.
really weird, crazy stuff. So
Okay. Yes.
Was that puppet jerking him off?
Yes, it was.
That
There was a
kinda
lot
crazy,
happening.
guys.
I couldn't.
There was so much happening.
I didn't see that.
I'm into
That
it.
was fast. I'm into it.
There was a
I
puppet
dig
jerking
it.
him off, but
Yeah,
I'm not surprised.
You're right, though. It has a great.
Oh yeah.
Is that you? It sounds like you.
Yeah, Catherine Keener is wonderful. I love her.
Yeah.
For sure.
Yeah, she's
This
really
guy,
great.
yeah, the cast is great.
Yeah.
Frank Langella.
Jim
Jim
Greer.
Ooh, I
Greer.
love her. She's
And-
in
and,
30.
Yeah, and Jim Carrey's really been like,
I've been loving
coming
older
back.
Jim
Killing it,
Carrey.
yeah.
I've been
He's been
loving his
coming back.
non-funny stuff.
oh yeah, he's a great
I'm-
actor.
So good. And Adam Sandler. I've been loving like these comedians who are like stupid raunchy humor or whatever, like evolving into these great older actors.
Yeah.
They are truly like a fine wine.
Yep.
Or a whiskey, if I know anything about
Yep.
whiskey. I think old whiskey's good.
Sure.
We'll go with
Yeah,
that.
me.
Yeah, they're smoky.
Smoky.
No, but this looks great.
Yeah.
It does look good. Yeah, I think
Holy
it's
cow.
interesting that
Is it schizophrenia? Like is
it kind of felt
It
schizophrenic.
They
felt like
felt
that.
like there's a mental illness thing.
I think
There's
so.
some
Yeah.
mental illness, something.
There's something.
Yeah,
there's
like
a
it almost
disconnect.
like yeah, almost at the end I was like, oh, he's like an incel maybe. But then they were just talking about how you
Maybe.
fucked this girl and then you don't call her back.
And he
or-
was very emotional about it.
Yeah,
and he shaved
yeah.
his head and was in the
But it
hospital
also
already.
did seem like he was maybe like could have been like autistic maybe, or like not really autistic, but like could have had some sort of like
There was a
social
disconnect
anxiety,
between-
kind of thing.
He
Yeah.
wasn't vibing with other people.
Yeah.
I wonder if he
Sure.
uses the puppets as a way to kind of connect,
Cope?
or
Oh.
you know, kind of like that trailer for the newest
Steve Carell movie.
Steve Carell movie, where
Yeah,
he
he
uses
uses
the little
those
action
dolls.
figures
Oh,
to connect with
what?
people and relive. I don't know.
He
Yeah.
uses it to cope with PTSD, but with this, it's
Yes.
like
I'm
probably
loving all these new movies about mental
Yeah.
illness, guys. I'm
With
so
old-
happy.
with old comedians.
It's
With old
like
comedians.
a real thing that happens. People use these other sort of mediums as like a proxy to deal with and cope with their mental illness, and it's like freaking fascinating.
I think it's so appropriate that it is old comedians. I mean, like Robin
Yeah,
Williams.
that's a good
I mean,
point.
the ratio of depressed people to comedians is high.
Oh, yeah.
Very, very high.
I
So,
just
like,
think people, creatives in general,
creatives
are
in general. Oh my
depressed.
God, Oscar Wilde much like
Yeah,
I
or
had a
like
whole
Van
conversation
Gogh,
about this.
you
Yes,
know?
I think if you're creative, you're just a little sad.
Yeah,
Sure. But I think
because
kind of-
you know how bad the world truly.
Well, I think it's because you need to
is.
make things beautiful to feel better.
Yeah.
Well, that's the sad person in me talking. I have to make pretty
but
things to
it's
feel good.
True, yeah.
So I think it's very appropriate, and I'm loving all these like Adam Sandler, Jim Carrey, Jonah Hill, apparently,
Right.
like going into these deeper roles and like really connecting with them. And I think they do connect with them. I know Jim Carrey definitely connects with this role.
Oh,
He's talked a
yeah.
lot about his struggles.
Yeah,
so
he's
I'm-
been painting recently.
Yeah, and he's been speaking out and getting
He
political.
is really
He's
good, by the
crazy. I
way.
love this guy. I love him.
Yeah.
What he's doing is great. But like I'm just liking this openness the actors are giving off. And I think there's a wave of change. Maybe this is me reading too much into everything as usual. There's a wave of change in Hollywood with the whole Me Too movement and with creative types going out of their way to really speak out. And I'm just really excited.
Trump
The-
as president, all sorts of
yeah,
things.
and like the whole actors sing and everybody's like, why is the Oscars doing these arbitrary, stupid changes? That's dumb. Why are they not changing the rules? Why are they not appreciating really well-made superhero movies? Why are they not appreciating beautiful, well-done horror movies like Get Out? Like, I feel like there's just a wave of change in entertainment and in Hollywood.
Let's hope so.
I hope so, and I feel like, especially for our sake, you know, I feel like we're kind of a different format from the old fuddy-duddy entertainment.
Sure.
So I think today kind of made me feel positive about the direction of entertainment.
I
I'm
agree.
like,
I
yeah,
agree. I think like,
yeah.
You know, our entertainment is always reflective of the time period that we're in and what's happening in society.
It should be.
And it should be. And I think that like this is a good. This show has kind of shown that like we're going in a good direction in terms of like, just like you said, just being very open to lots of different types of entertainment.
I think it's what we need.
Yeah.
As sad creative types, people don't really see the value in what we do and what we love until things like this are made. So it's very encouraging.
Very beautiful, guys.
All
and
the
that
feels.
has been a very somber NPR episode.
This has been Thoughts for Your Thoughts.
Yeah.
Don't smoke Wiz Khalifa's weed because you might puke
You
and
might
have a
puke.
seizure.
There were a lot of things to learn today here
But
on
your own
Screen
weed,
Source.
that's fine.
Yes.
Or your homie's weed.
Screen Source episode 44. Thank you all for being here. Really
Yeah.
appreciate it. It's always fun every week to do this. Next week will be episode 45.
Nice.
5
As
episodes
numbers
till
do.
our
As
number
numbers do.
50th.
Ooh.
Yeah, we gotta have
Which
some
we
sort
can
of
do
big
something
hoopla.
special.
Exciting.
Screen
Yeah.
Source cake or something.
We should all go to the theater and watch the Nutcracker for the big
And just like,
But like
rent
Mystery
the theater
Science
and like
Theater,
just talk shit the
throw
entire movie.
popcorn.
Yeah, we
Just
got to do a
roast it.
3-hour in-depth review of that film.
Yes.
While we're watching it.
It'll be like a
Exactly.
riff tracks.
Exactly,
for-
like Mystery Science Theater,
Yeah.
but angry.
Yep.
And
Right.
justifiably so.
Yep.
And we bring actual Rotten Tomatoes.
This
Or
is great.
nuts.
Or nuts. And we crack them.
And we crack them and
Crack 'em.
throw
At
them
the
at the
screen.
screen.
Please take a look at the schedule below. We are live every day here on actually twitch.tv/ColorSeeker Live. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to plug that on YouTube, but I'm doing it. Oh, no. And make sure to visit our Patreon. It says right there, Patreon, an exclamation point. It's patreon.com/ColorCircuit Live, I believe. We just launched it last weekend. Give that a look. That always helps us make more videos for you.
Yep.
Go ahead, Jess.
Oh, I was going to just mention one last thing. I did a review. Was it last episode or a couple episodes back on the show, The Vintage Voyager? She watched it and liked it and is going to show some clips on her Instagram. So
Cool.
really awesome.
Yeah, we really appreciate it.
Yeah. Thank you, Allison. Cool. If you guys have a chance and you enjoy shopping and or vintage stuff, which would probably be most of the female viewers, watch the Vintage Voyager on Prime. Well, actually, and I do have some males in mind that would enjoy it too. So Amazon Prime, Vintage Voyager. I thought that was really cool that she watched our review of her show.
Yeah, and if anybody else wants us to review something that they